Everything has to start from something. The universe was created by a huge explosion of energy that all started in one location and spread far out to places mankind can only dream of reaching. And while it is pretty difficult for human beings to comprehend this event, similar, smaller events have happened in our existence. And now, for something completely different. You like memes? Everyone loves themselves some memes. Some funny little images they show off to their friends and share it around to make people laugh. It's a pastime most use on the web. But do you ever sit there and wonder, where did this pastime really originate from? Creating these things that were made for pure entertainment to share around with others. Is there an origin point of all this? Well, technically, there is. The entire starting point for meme culture in general can be traced back to a little website called somethingawful.com. Something Awful was created by a man named Richard Lotax Kiyonka on November 16th, 1999, right at the tail end of the millennium. What started as a funny little personal website for Lotax slowly morphed into one of the biggest internet forums of the early 2000s. Many classic internet icons came from Something Awful. This is where Slenderman originated from. This is where the term Jandy came from. This is where the earliest internet memes came from. This website is even where one of the users would splinter off and create 4chan. 4chan was a byproduct of Something Awful. So yes, meme culture as we all know it can be traced back to Something Awful. A ton of what we just take for granted nowadays originated from here. Nowadays, Something Awful is mostly forgotten, but that won't change the fact almost everything meme-related originated from here. There were a ton of talented people on this website making these memes, and one of those individuals went on to have one of the craziest stories I've ever seen on the internet. This is Dave Kelly, or as I should say, this was Dave Kelly, past tense. David Kelly, known online for years as Shmorky, was an animator for Something Awful, who went on to do big things, really, really big things. And then it would all come crashing down by his own actions and words. This is the story of Shmorky. Dave Kelly had a rough early life. From everything I've read, he had a rough childhood, and going into adulthood, an even rougher time with that. In the year 2000, he graduated from college with a tech degree, but he had a passion for drawing and animating. But that wasn't paying the bills. He would hop from residence to residence, some with family members, some with friends, and then people from online, where he claims he was forced to do favors for some of them. Yeah, as you can imagine, that's pretty bad. He would take art commissions while doing this. Some, in his own words, were pretty disgusting, just to keep himself afloat. While these were commissions he didn't want to do, he did have a few more passion projects he made, and this is a perfect time to give you a sample size of some of Shmorky's work. You may not recognize his name, but there's a chance you've probably seen his work at least once before. Let me show you. Does this ring any bells? Some of you may remember this, some not, but how about this?
I like Marlboro flip-top box. I like flip-top box. I like flip-top box. Flip-top box. Flip-top box.
Okay, maybe some more, but how about this?
How is baby formed? How girl get pregnant? They need to do weigh in stain mother. Who killed their babbies because these babby can't fricks back?
If you still don't, what about this?
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
As you can tell, Shmorky had a hand in some of the most well-known internet memes at the time. Now, these are scattered all throughout the years, but I was really just giving you a broad stroke of his work. One of the places Shmorky posted these animations was Something Awful, which hit a chord with the users back in the day and were pretty popular on the site. Of course, these were just, passion projects. He was hardly making any money off these. Lucky for Shmorky, this was going to change real soon. In the early to mid-2000s, Low-Tax started hosting a convention for Something Awful members. Yes, a convention. It was called GoonCon. Goons were what former users of Something Awful were called, if you don't know. There, all sorts of members of the board met up and did what else? Stupid shit. During one of these conventions, Low-Tax had met with Shmorky in real life, and if you don't know, Low-Tax was a huge fan of Shmorky's work. Low-Tax learned of Shmorky's living conditions and felt bad for him, as anyone would. But Low-Tax decided to actually do something about it. Being as it was the mid-2000s and Something Awful was still at its peak, Low-Tax offered Shmorky a job. He offered to let Shmorky start doing animation for Something Awful, and to start actually making money from these animations he was creating, and even offered to let Shmorky move out to where he lived. Seeing as there was nothing but positives here, of course Shmorky took the job offer, leading to a great partnership for the two for years to come. This would lead to the golden age of Shmorky. After the two of them became partners, Shmorky would start creating a ton of animations for Something Awful, and they were of course really popular with the site. A ton of different types of animations with different characters, like an AVGN parody I dare not say the name of in this video, and also the introduction to Shmorky's most well-known creation, the Clurfs. The Clurfs are these weird, strange, and cutesy knockoffs of the Smurfs, if the name wasn't a dead giveaway. Get used to seeing them, because you will be seeing them a lot in this video. They basically became what Shmorky used as a basis for everything in his animations and art pieces. They're what he's well known for and is his signature style. Because of the popularity of these animations, Shmorky and Low-Tax grew close and became good friends. Partners in crime, if you will. Low-Tax even started letting his daughters do voices in Shmorky's animations.
The bunny's name was Carrot, and he nibbled the carrot. And I said, and then to hopped away to a star. She chased the bunny. She shot the bunny with rainbows. Oh, don't worry, I'm going to jump home. And then they went home to have some food.
Well, ain't this some cute, wholesome fun? But of course, the popularity of Something Awful was pretty much gone by the 2010s as other websites took hold. So the animations were making pretty slim margins by this point. So Low-Tax and Shmorky decided to start up a YouTube channel called Gaming Garbage. They would scour the internet for poorly made Indian Flash games that drove them to the edge of insanity.
Slenderman is spawning kids, is that it? Huh?
I don't know.
Is Slenderman spawning children?
I don't know!
Yes.
Ah!
Wait, so... Oh my god.
God damn it! Fuck this!
Dave.
Fuck it!
Dave,
What?
have you ever put a child on the ground?
This channel was mildly successful. It was something at least. Low-Tax and Shmorky were getting along well, having a blast suffering from these piss-poor games, and they started going off on their own ventures as well. This was really just a side gig. Low-Tax went on to do his own thing, meanwhile Shmorky was still taking commissions, and some of these commissions were from big-name studios. Shmorky got commissioned by Adult Swim to make a series of animations for the TV channel, and he obliged. I already showed you the dog one, but there were others as well. He even got work for Gang Grumps and the Aquabats, doing animations for them as well. Shmorky really got his name out there and was getting recognized. Shmorky did the unthinkable. He turned his hobby into his career. He was getting work most would only dream of getting. All seems well. Now, what could possibly screw this up? Well, how about Shmorky himself? As Something Awful started to fall out of favor for more mainstream websites, Shmorky shifted most of his content over to Tumblr. But this was early to mid-2010s Tumblr, when the whole gender warfare was going on over there. You know, the whole dicest scum phase of the website. And Shmorky, was one of those people who fell into the gender warfare on Tumblr. Shmorky's work started becoming more and more politically correct, and that something awful edge was mostly gone. Some might view this as a good thing, and others might view it as a bad thing. That's up to you. But the art style was definitely now leaning more into the cutesy style, to reflect how Shmorky wanted to be seen in the real world. Now before we continue, I want to be clear that I like to be somewhat respectful to someone's identity if that's what they feel is best for them. And Shmorky slowly started leaning more into things he perceived were feminine, and if that's what he wanted, he deserves that. I'm not going to tell someone what they can and can't be. But it should be known, Shmorky said himself he didn't care what pronouns people called him. He said anything but it was fine. So for consistency's sake and the fact I know I'd probably screwed up in some way, I have used male pronouns and will continue to use them for the rest of the video. Shmorky started going under a new online alias, Daisy K, to fit the new him. He started rejecting anything of the gender binary and started labeling himself as genderqueer. Now if you think the rest of this story is just crapping on some person for being nonconformant, you are sadly mistaken. Shmorky became obsessed with gender after making this change, to the point it actively started taking over his life. Every asset of Shmorky's personality now revolved around his gender. He never stopped talking about it. Shmorky was now a fundamentally different person than he once was. He, of course, started changing his appearance. Looking at this photo of a young Shmorky, he's in his 20s and balding. Just like me. And in order to combat this, Shmorky bought a cheap yarn wig and coated his face in makeup. This was the end result. Now, I will say, if his goal was to not look too much like a man or a woman, he succeeded. He doesn't look feminine, masculine, or even androgynous. He looks like he belongs in the fucking Mandela catalog. To also add to this change in presentation, Shmorky started talking in this very nasally high-pitched voice that is extremely hard to listen to.
No, yeah, use mom. Use mom to show you the way.
Yeah, I'm dual-wielding mom and a gun.
Yeah, but mom's not on. You gotta turn mom on.
Oh, how do I
Turn mom on in the park.
How do I turn mom on in the park?
Click a button, right mouse button. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Shmorky just turned mom on in the park. That's a little puzzle.
Yeah.
It's just Shmorky Plays.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is just Shmorky again today, and today we play Clumsy Rex for PC Game Engine 2014. The story is that you need to grab some flowers because your anniversary gift is going to be late.
Imagine listening to that for hours on end. Nails on a chalkboard doesn't even begin to describe it. More like a bus on a chalkboard. Because of the major shift in Shmorky's personality, all the goodwill he built up with Something Awful and Low-Tax started drifting away. Many people just started finding him weird and obnoxious, and eventually, Low-Tax kicked Shmorky off of gaming garbage, and then the two were on very bad terms. They still talked, but they weren't as friendly as they once were. But being on bad terms with Low-Tax, Shmorky soon found himself in the arms of another. This is Amanda. Amanda is Shmorky's girlfriend. Well, was Shmorky's girlfriend. Past tense. They met over Tumblr, and just like Shmorky, Amanda had gender identity issues. Apparently, around the time she met Shmorky, she was identifying as a guy, but then stopped after a while. I'm not too up to date on that situation, but look, she calls herself Amanda or Mandy in most places. That's what most of her profiles said when researching, so that's what I'm going with. Shmorky and Amanda had a lot of common interests and eventually started dating and moved in with each other to help start paying the bills. So Shmorky finally has someone who can give him happiness. There's just one issue. Amanda is schizophrenic. She is a diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic. Of course she's on medication for it, but when she's off said medication, she starts rambling about complete nonsense. So, you got someone obsessed with gender and has turned himself into Jeff the Killer and a medically diagnosed schizophrenic together, romantically. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Whenever Amanda and Shmorky got into an argument, Shmorky would hide her pills, and seeing as she needs those to function like a normal person, this would of course lead to arguments and situations when Amanda has a full-on mental breakdown. We actually got a recording of one of these arguments when Amanda started harassing Lotax and his family after he and Shmorky had a falling out, and Shmorky wanted her to stop. Listen to it for yourself.
I'll never touch you again. I'll just do what you want. What do you want me to do? I'll do whatever you want. What do you want from me?
Stop screaming and pretending.
I'm not forgetting!
I'm...
What do you want from me? What?
What do you want from me?
I just want you to tell me what you want from me.
What do you want
What do you want from me? They're unbeatable. They're unstoppable. There is no answer. There is no answer to the Jewish question because they always win. They always win and they're mine and I'm theirs. And there's nothing I can do about it ever.
This is some of the most polarizing audio I have ever heard. You can hear this woman is clearly in mental distress, going on about Jews and thinking they're out to get her, or that Shmorky is going to hurt her. It's extremely hard to listen to. But then, any tension you might get from this immediately dissipates when you hear this shrill Mickey Mouse, Lois Griffin fucking crossbreed voice Shmorky is putting on, and you realize that voice belongs to the person who is causing her mental anguish.
I just want to know what the truth is. I don't want to fight anymore.
The truth is that you are now facing the consequences of harassing two people that did nothing to you. That's what's happening right now.
They did!
No, they didn't.
Yeah, I think we're going to move on from this before Shmorky's voice makes me burst out into laughter and I look like a jackass. Now, how do you think we got this audio in the first place? You want to know? Well, it turns out Shmorky was the one who recorded it and then uploaded it to the Something Awful forums as a way to garner sympathy with what he had to deal with. As you can imagine, he was told off and kicked from the boards for recording his schizophrenic girlfriend's meltdown. Of course, their relationship wouldn't last after this. They eventually broke up and went on their separate ways. Or so you may think. Now, this is sort of where the video might get some people upset, because now I'm going to bring up Kiwi Farms. Yes, I know the farms are a very controversial website, but this is actually where a good chunk of revelations in Shmorky's story take place, so I really don't have a choice in this matter. The people in Shmorky's thread were doing their thing, clowning on him and calling him a freak and all sorts of things. But after this incident, a surprise special guest will make an appearance on Shmorky's thread. Amanda. Amanda, who I assume was mostly medicated up when posting on here, was going to dig up a lot of dirt on her ex. And boy, did she have a lot to reveal. In the early 2010s, an internet user named Sandy Pants popped up on multiple websites. Sandy Pants was a 13-year-old girl who had a passion for animation. And for a 13-year-old, this is pretty damn impressive. Any artists watching this are probably throwing their drawing tablets out right now as we speak. But the strange thing about her is, she had an obsession with the matter of the fecal and urination variety. She talked about it a lot. She even had Let's Plays up of her playing the game Facade, where she talked more about piss and shit.
I'm gonna pick it up.
Grace?
Steph?
Grace, hello?
No, please don't do
Hello.
that.
Is this the toilet?
Who is this?
Toilet
Grace?
man?
Is that you?
Ugh, it's my dad. I can hear his voice.
I don't recognize
Toilet
your
man!
voice.
I have to poop.
Excuse me, I must have the wrong
Okay,
number.
he's being annoying as usual. Just hang it up.
No.
Well, Grace's parents, they're something else. Really classy
Ugh, no,
people.
they're impossible. They're always expecting me to act like the dutiful daughter. It's so annoying.
Oh my god, my doodle is full.
Bringing up this person might seem completely random and out of nowhere, but trust me, we'll come back to Sandy Pants in a bit. Now, where were we? Alright, Amanda showing up on Kiwi Farms. Amanda revealed a lot of personal details about Shmorky that a lot of people had already assumed, but Amanda was flat out confirming them now. Shmorky was manipulative, verbally abusive, and refused to be seen without his yarn wig on. He also was apparently going to get his own cartoon at Nickelodeon, but he wanted full creative control. This meant shoving his obsession with gender in it. Nick didn't want this shoved in the show, so they backed out. Amanda also revealed more personal details about Shmorky. This also included Shmorky's kinks. Oh god, I gotta talk about this now. For well over a decade, Shmorky had been dodging rumors that he was a furry who was into diaper role-playing. Way back in the day, 2 images showed up bearing a striking resemblance to his work, and when confronted about this, he denied it, saying it was just a commission he did to pay the bills. But it should be known, being an artist from the early 2000s internet, of course he drew nasty stuff. In fact, Shmorky even had a not suitable for work Patreon dedicated to drawing this crap. Do you want to see a clerf with detailed genitalia? No you don't. Oh, this must be that outhouse show everybody's been talking about. Amanda came out and flat out confirmed Shmorky was into diaper stuff, but she put her foot down and said she was not changing a full-grown adult's diapers and was not doing any of that crap. This revelation shocked absolutely no one, but what Amanda was doing here garnered the attention of other people. Most notably, Low-Tex came in and confirmed some stuff about Shmorky as well, but then an entirely new person came in and dropped a bombshell. This person, under the alias Carefully, came into the Kiwi Farms thread and revealed over 90 pages of chat logs they had with Shmorky, where they role-played on Skype. What did these chat logs entail?
Me. I am Shmorky, and I'm going to throw my shit at you. A huge supply of tish comes from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little twat?
All of these chat logs had very, very graphic and detailed roleplay sessions involving characters who were explicitly said to be underage and involved incest, pedophilia, and lots of poop and pee. Now, for everyone's sake, I'm not going to show you any of the extremely graphic stuff, but just viewing the safe stuff still gives me the damn creeps.
You really think you'll survive in here? You don't seem to know which creek you're in. Sweet corn is the only thing that makes it through my rear. How do you think I keep this lovely grin? Have some more caviar.
Now, it should be important to note, this person claims they were 18 when these chat logs were made, and they flip-flopped on if they were underage at all when Shmorky was chatting with them, and this person really didn't deserve any of this. And I feel so sorry for having to put up with Shmorky's shit. Literally.
Eat the poo-poo!
The entire Kiwi Farms thread was appalled. Amanda was appalled. Low-Tex took it the hardest, because just a reminder, Shmorky had been around his kids. Can you imagine what went through his mind after finding this out? And just when you thought this development wasn't enough, there was another one right around the corner! Another new user named Soliloquy showed up in the thread and revealed messages from 2007 that showed Shmorky had hired her as a voice actor to pretend to be a 13-year-old girl who talks about pooping and peeing a lot named Peaches the Puppy. Peaches the Puppy was some strange account on Furfinity with some weird photorealistic creepy art.
Hi, I'm Peaches the Puppy, and this is what I sound like in the real world. Duh!
Hi, I'm Peaches the Puppy, and this is my fucking voice. Yay, Kiwi Farms vaginas.
But people were also able to link this account to another account, Sandy Pants. People compared artwork and the obsession with fecal matter to Shmorky, and it all added up. Shmorky had set the whole thing up.
This just in, my butt.
Your butt.
My butt.
Your butt.
That's right, my butt. My butt. My butt!
For those who are lost, Peaches the puppy and Sandy Pants weren't real. They were not real people. They were Shmorky, who changed up his art style and hired voice actresses so he could roleplay as 13-year-old girls who were obsessed with peeing and pooping. He not only did it once, but twice! This was just even more confirmation. Shmorky was a freak. There was no doubt about it now. Everyone joined in on the Kiwi Farms thread to dunk on him. Amanda, his voice actors, Lotax, even Lotax's kids got in on the dunking on Shmorky. That's how much he got torn to shreds. Shortly before all this transpired, Shmorky checked himself into a mental hospital, and after this all got unearthed, he left a concerning message on his Patreon and one last comment to his Tumblr. After that, Shmorky has not been heard of since. 6 years later, and all traces of him have been lost. As of right now, nobody has any clue what happened to Shmorky. There have been theories, and the theories are like the endings to a Silent Hill game. The bad ending, Shmorky's dead. Shmorky took his own life like his goodbye messages seem to imply. There isn't much evidence to back this up, but for some reason, back in 2021, a collection of NFTs popped up in remembrance of Shmorky, implying that he did die. But then it was revealed by the person who made them she just met with Shmorky and she had no clue what happened to him. So yeah, this was just a crock of shit. The good ending. Shmorky got the help he needed, and now is living a somewhat normal life away from the internet. Yeah, fat chance of that. The neutral ending. Shmorky is still in the mental hospital and probably will stay there away from society for as long as humanly possible. And of course, there's the joke ending. There is an ongoing conspiracy theory that after this all got unearthed, something flipped in Shmorky, and he became a completely different person. Again. He went on to become Stone Toss. You know, the guy who makes all those really edgy right-wing political comics. People have compared their art styles, and Stone Toss coincidentally started a few months after Shmorky left the internet, but I don't buy this. Besides the similar looking art styles, there is really nothing holding this theory up because Stone Toss is just so wildly opposite of what Shmorky was, I don't think it's possible for Shmorky to turn into that. But those are all just theories. Nobody actually knows what happened to him. People have even looked at other artists with similar art styles to try and pin it to Shmorky, but no dice. Meanwhile, the creator of Something Awful, Lotax, his best friend for years, took his own life in 2021, and Shmorky was still nowhere to be seen to say anything about him. Nothing. Amanda would come back to the Kiwi Farms thread years later on a new account, but now identifying as Conrad, but create a new account and still called it Amanda. Which one is it? And Amanda, or Conrad, claims to have found Shmorky after going from hospital to hospital, and claims they were abducted by aliens. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh boy, someone's off their medication again. Yeah, they would go on for dozens and dozens of pages, going off about Scientology, demons, and religion. This is just a mess.
This is Toho, right? You know what this character's called? This character, I forget what her name is, but she's, something to do with, her name's the History Eater. Her name is the History Eater. This is what Chinese Google translates this to.
What the hell is this? Honestly, there's a chance this isn't even the real Amanda. It could be a dedicated troll, but either way, could someone please find Amanda or Conrad, man, woman, I don't care. Please put them back on their medication, for the love of God! So, at the end of the day, everyone involved in this story fucking lost. Lotax is dead, Amanda, or Conrad, is off making crazy conspiracy theories. The one who roleplayed with Shmorky will probably have mental scars for the rest of their life, and Shmorky himself has never been seen again. An animation pioneer on the internet is gone without a trace. And honestly, maybe it's for the best. God bless, be sure to like and subscribe, and good night. Stay safe.
I like Marlboros with top box. I like
Ah, you cursed squirrel, look what you've done! I'm blushing! Oh, what a world, what a world! Who'd have thought a good little squirrel like you could destroy my beautiful flagginess? Oh, I'm going! Oh, no!
Now that's what I call a bowel movement.